Aloha, it's Dave Lawrence, and I hope you're having a great day. We're very fortunate to have a gifted comedian and actor joining us for a conversation. He is appearing live Thursday at the Blaisdell Concert Hall here in Honolulu, and then Saturday at the Mac in Kahului. He is a Saturday Night Live veteran, a cast member of CBS Rules of Engagement. You know him as Dennis Finch from Just Shoot Me, C.J. Barnes on 8 Simple Rules, and of course as Joe Dirt from Joe Dirt, just to name some of his many colorful experiences. I met him once many years ago in Boston, and it's a treat to welcome him now. Calling us here in Honolulu, the extremely talented David Spade. Aloha, David.
That's a nice wind-up. I like that.
Oh.
I do think the shows are Thursday on Honolulu. I think it's Friday in Maui.
Okay.
I think.
I'll double check.
People want to come, and if they can hear this and they're over there, I think it is Friday, but check. Anyway, yeah, it's. I'm glad to talk to you since Boston. I remember everything we talked about.
I seriously doubt you did, but because I wasn't even the DJ then. But I remember Bill Blumenreich from the Comedy Connection brought you over to BCN.
Well, I think one time I was in Boston. I've never been there much, so I remember one time Dennis Miller got me. We ran over and watched Larry Miller, I think, do a set somewhere. But that was. I remember I've only been to Boston once or twice because I just did a movie out there this summer and nothing looked familiar.
Yeah, it was right behind Fenway Park. WBCN was the radio station. Mark Parento was the DJ, and it was Bill Blumenreich is the guy who owns I believe it was Bill who brought you over from the Comedy Connection.
Oh, I flogged a gig or something?
Something like that.
Oh, I love it. That's all right.
It was a long time ago.
Just sleep without reminiscing, but I'm doing some stand-up now because I've had some time off before. I think I go back to Rules of Engagement. So they tell me in 2 weeks what the story is, but if I go back, it's in August. So I just booked some random gigs, places that I wanted to check out, and so Hawaii sounded like a fun one. And I'd been out there to visit, like most people, and love it. And so I thought when they offered a show out there, I was like, you know what, that is a good idea. I never think of that.
Ah, well, a perfect one. We'll be happy to have you. What is your background? You say you've been here a few times. Give me sort of the 411 on your experience with Hawaii.
I remember the first time I was going to go visit there when I was in show business was, I actually stayed in Hawaii Kai a long time ago. Do you know where that is?
Yep, of course.
I think it's over by Roy's, but my best friend moved there from Arizona when I was 15. So I'd come out and goof around when I was 15, 16. Tried to surf, went to Sandy Beach, got pounded. That shore break is a little rough, and I'm not so tough. And for anybody, that would break your back. So I boogie boarded and body surfed there. But then I didn't come back, and then I was going to do my first gigs here, but I got a third call back for In Living Color of all shows, which wound up going to Jim Carrey, but who is 1,000 times better, and that was fun, but I missed 2 weeks of a gig in Hawaii at some club.
Brutal.
Then I went out there with Adam Sandler once to visit. I've been out there on my own. I surfed with Hans Heidemann, is that who it is? Hans Heidemann, who gave me some lessons, and I wasn't any good. But I think I tell people I surf, but I don't.
Hans Heidemann Surf School.
Yeah, you know that is, right?
Yeah, I used to know a dude who worked there really well.
Listen, I used to read all Buzzy Kerbox and Dane Kealoha and Marco and Derrico and all these surfers. When I was in Arizona, I'd read Surfer Magazine. I don't know why. I just thought I was cool. And I was a big skateboarder. And I didn't realize surfing was tough. And when I tried it, I figured it out. I remember standing on the reef at Diamond Head going, what do I do now? And they're like, get off the reef.
You're lucky you didn't do that at Hanama Bay.
I'm a half a mile out. I'm just standing in the water.
Did you snorkel when you were here?
I did. Was that Hanama Bay?
Yeah.
Look at me with the lingo.
I am blown away. It is impressive.
Listen, I've been to the, what's the mall? Tell me, because I thought I just had it.
Ala Moana?
Ala Moana. Yeah, I went out there with Heather Locklear once to see U2 and Pearl Jam.
Oh, yeah, '06.
Rock, a bunch of people went out there together. It was great.
Wow, you were here for that.
Yeah, it was great. We ate at Jack in the Box. It's great. A lot like the one in L.A., but still.
Hey, they're closing them down now.
No, why?
Both Jack in the Boxes in Waikiki have packed it up in the last several years. I don't know why, but I'm a little bummed.
Oh, no, I have good memories there.
I knew that it would be an emotional moment when I broke that to you.
It is because we had fun there. Shoot. Well, there's that. I also want to tell people that might be listening. I just heard in some blurb that Adam and these people were going to come to my show and go on. I can't say that they are because they're shooting a movie, and I think someone got a little ahead of themselves to get people excited. But I think that at Oahu show, I'm going to bring Todd Glass to go on with me, who's a headlining comedian, but he'll come with me so he could do part of the show with me. It'll be fun. And then on Maui, Nick Swartz and this other great comedian from Grandma's Boy is going to go on. But Sandler and Aniston and all those guys are doing a movie. I told them to come if they want, but I don't know if they get off in time on Friday.
So they're out here now filming?
They're out in Maui, yeah. They're doing a big movie out there with a lot of fun people. So that'll be fun, but I just want to clear that up because I think someone said that for sure was happening. I don't want to get people excited like Adam's going to sing a song or something. Dabba-doo!
He's a very talented guy. How long have you known him?
Todd Glass. Whoever goes on is fine. Bring good people to go on with me, and there's an opener, then there's Todd in Oahu, and then there's Nick in Maui. It'll be great. I'm excited.
We're very excited, too, that you're coming. How far back do you go with Adam Sandler?
I guess we used to live in the Valley doing stand-up, and I knew him and Judd Apatow, Rob Schneider. It's kind of like that movie Funny People. It was based on that, if you saw it. There was a guy that I introduced them to, the sitcom guy that I knew. He was pretty cool, so he hung out with us, but he would always show us his checks from work for $20,000. We were like, oh, my God. And in the movie, they painted him to be kind of an idiot, obviously. And then I remember Adam and I wrote jokes for Roseanne Barr. We were trying to get money from her for her HBO special. Then I got Saturday Night Live, and then 6 months later, he got it. Rob also got it with me. And that's why it's fun. We did that movie Grown Ups this summer because it just kind of was like back at the Saturday Night Live offices goofing around again.
Was that an experience? What is your favorite memory of your time getting to work on that show?
I guess because it was always hard, and I never really did as well as they did on there, like Chris Farley and Adam and everybody. But I did have a good time. I was just stressed. I do remember laughing the hardest and just remembering everyone so GD, smart and funny around me. I was not used to it, I was used to being like the funny guy in my Arizona, and with my buddies, I'd be like, hey, look at how hilarious I am. But then when I got out there, I'm like, everywhere I turn, someone's better than me.
Right.
And so the good thing was when I left, it was never I've worked with good people, but it was never as highly concentrated as funny as those. Like, it's Dennis Miller, and you're competing with Dana Carvey and Mike Myers and Sandler and Chris Farley, Chris Rock. And the writers like Jack Handy and Robert Smigel and Conan, you just everywhere you turn, you go, oh my God, that guy's good. And I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just a stand-up going, here's a funny sketch idea. I go, beep, bop, boop. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's a great way of describing it, though. Just that there was such an intensity of talent that you it's almost like a relief not to be in that situation again.
Right. It's kind of tricky to, but then I left and would go to do stuff, and it turned into I don't know. I just felt like at least I got some sharpened skills from being there.
Right, yeah. No doubt that it was very good for you to, like you said, to get a better grip on your talent from having to be so competitive with that many talented cats around you. Getting to come out here, David, there's something about your own personal life that will, in a way, relate to this trip, and that is, I know that last year you had done a nice gesture with Operation Helmet that very well could save the lives of some of our local military men and women. You'll be playing in the most militarized state in the country. Can you talk a little bit about what influenced your decision to help them out?
Oh, wow. I forgot that you would even know about that. I think it's just more about giving back, and if things go all right for me, because if I have a little bit of work and I get some money coming in, I don't spend that much. So I thought now and then I got to try to figure out something that kind of hits home with me. There's obviously a million places that need help and charities and this and that, obviously, but you just kind of have to pick something that hits you, and that. I have some friends in the military. You always have someone in the military. You always have someone that and just in general, they're out there, doing the work that I can't do. I mean, they're out busting their hump and keeping an eye on the country, and they need the respect. And I was hearing about all these brain injuries, and if they just had slightly better helmets, but they can't afford them. So I looked into getting better vests, and it's very technical to try to send troops something, because these vests I had on order, I found out if anything happened, they wouldn't be covered with insurance, even though they were better than what they had. So I didn't want to do that, because ultimately it might screw some family out of, if something happens.
Right, I understand.
Insurance money. So the intentions were there, but I found Operation Helmet was making a few easy tweaks to helmets to make them a lot better and safer. And so I just bought up as many as I could and shipped them out. So I think, you get some of these guys feel a little better, because, it's a rough road. Obviously, everyone knows that walking on the sand or walking on wherever you are and you can't sleep and they're shooting everywhere, it's just a tough life. And so I gave some money to the police in Arizona that needed some guns, and wasn't really a Republican or a Democrat thing. It was just kind of, these guys are taking care of us. Let's help out a little bit. So it worked out. I mean, I think if they got to the right hands, and I think everybody, those things help somehow. That's all.
I think it was a really nice gesture and a significant contribution you made. Not everybody does stuff like that. I mean, we have different callings, as you pointed out, and being on the air here for 8 years in Hawaii, I've gotten to come across quite a bit of our military brothers and sisters as fans and listeners and close friends, and I just think it's a great thing that you did. Thank you on behalf of so many other...
No problem. I mean, they're out the ones watching Joe Dirt and buying, I'm just
That's right.
trying to send over video, just anything, because they're the fans, they're the customers, and also they're, in the bigger picture, really helping out the country. So can't forget about it.
No, it's cool. Not everybody can afford to do what you did, so that's why I just offer that from the rest of us. Thanks for helping them. And certainly another thing about you that's special, David, you have experience doing stand-up, TV show roles, movies, voicing animated roles, doing comedy television like SNL we were talking about. Was it your goal to be so diverse, or is that sort of what it takes to survive?
Yeah, the second part. I think if I could sing, I'd even be doing better. When I was on Saturday Night Live, I was so bummed I couldn't sing or play an instrument, because there's so many sketches, because it's kind of a variety show. You have to do everything. And I was always jealous. Adam was a great singer, and he could play guitar, and he could do everything. And he's really good at it. He can just play like in a band. He's great. So I thought that just actually looked fun more than anything. And it's always great to lend yourself to a comedy album or to do little stuff for the internet. But I just was bummed I couldn't do that. But other than that, yeah, the stuff, animated movies came out, and that was just fell into my lap. I loved it. I do stand-up because I don't want to sit around too long. And obviously this business is tough, and you can get kind of forgotten about easily. So I just try to keep my hands in a few things without being too much of a Kardashian and totally selling out. You know what I mean? I'm trying to do somewhat respectable things.
Yeah.
Sounds like a burn. That's kind of a burn on them. It doesn't really mean to be. It's just more like there's some people that are just professional personalities. I don't even know what they do. I don't know how it started.
Right.
I'd rather do stuff that at least has something to it,
I get it.
Stand-up's still hard. I mean, no one's going to argue that to go out for an hour and keep all your thoughts in track is tough. And so to go do it, I do it half for the challenge of trying to make it good again,
Right, and I'm sure never, like you just described, it always keeps your skills sharp by doing it constantly.
Yeah, I used to do it more, and I got pretty good when I got on Saturday Night Live, but then I couldn't do it every night. So when you're not doing it every night, you quickly get rusty. it's just I've been back on it trying to get it good. So is Rob Schneider. He went out and he's been touring around.
Yeah, he's a very talented guy. Chris Farley, what was a side of him or a story about him that people may not know that made you admire or be endeared to him?
I just think that he was just a nice kid from Wisconsin, and he had his problems. And so when, you get famous and you get money, it just adds fuel to the fire. He would have been a little crazy and a bit of a boozy Susie just around town, and I don't know how long that would have lasted. Had fame, money, and just a more public version of that, So I think that it was already set in stone what was going to the road he was going to go down. I just thought he was a great guy, very funny, obviously, fun to hang out, very nice. Had his moments, but we were very close, and it was hard to watch it kind of head the wrong way once I figured out what was going to happen. But he was so strong and tough about drinking and all the partying that I thought, well, maybe not. Maybe he'll pull through this because there's stuff he did that it would have killed me easily. And then he can just wake up at 7 a.m. next day on the set. So you go, oh, okay, we're different.
Right.
And it just catches up to you, But he's a great guy. I mean, obviously people still talk about him. That's a good sign.
Yeah, and people know how close you guys were. That's why I was just curious what it was that brought you so close to him. Aside, I guess you're saying it was his talent and he was a nice guy.
Yeah, we were both scared getting on SNL. I mean, his first day I saw him at the hotel, talked to him. We walked down together, and we're both like, well, here we go. And we just kind of bonded on that level of we're new, it's exciting, what's going on here, and kind of went through the ride together.
That's cool. That's a great experience. A final question for you, David. I know you're a really busy guy, and I got to let you go. But what has most inspired you in terms of people? If there's a person that you've run into or people along the way they carry themselves, the way they treat others that has somehow inspired you or affected the way that you then are as a person, is there anyone you can give any credit to, someone who acted in some ways, even if you didn't expect them to end up being a role model?
Well, I mean, I try to look at my contemporaries from SNL and how we all did, and I always look up to actors like Sean Penn, Johnny Depp, see how these guys kind of run their lives, how they're good at what they do, what is it about them, people that are good. But I'd say even guys like Sandler, it's nice to see a guy that gets that big and that much money. He's still helping out his buddies. He's still got his family, and he's still trying to be a cool dude. And, it gets overwhelming because he's so recognizable. And he's kind of like the thing I get, on a lower level, is just people look at you like you're a party guy because they think you're Joe Dirt or you're Tommy Boy, and they want to grab you and do shots. And Sandler gets a lot of that, too, and he handles it pretty well. It's very tough. So I think if I had that kind of crazy money and that kind of crazy life and fame, it would be he's pretty good at it. But I try to watch how people handle everything and just do kind of a research paper of everybody and go, don't do it like that. Do it more like that. I see people in the news and on the internet every day. I go, I hope I'm not like that.
Right. That makes sense.
It's hard not to be like drugs, alcohol, everything. When I started, it was all the things I wanted with money and then I realized, it's all the stuff you have to say no to is the hard part. You have to not spend your money. You have to not do all the stuff that's bad. It's very tough to balance that out. Self-discipline.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's discipline is what you're talking about.
Tell you not to.
It's impressive. I'm sure it's a battle. Well, you've done really well, and it's a pleasure getting to speak with you today. I hope this wasn't too much of an inconvenience.
It was horrible, but nice to talk to you. No, it was not that much of an inconvenience. It worked out very nicely. I appreciate it. You're very thorough and thoughtful questions. I appreciate it.
And thank you. That's kind of you, David. Is it at all possible when you're in town to grab a quick photo while you're in Honolulu, or would that be an inconvenience?
No chance. Anyway, it was great talking to you. No, yeah, we probably could do that.
Who should I reach out to, the promoter?
You like it every time I say no chance. And, you can reach out to my girl, and maybe if you're at one of those shows, I can do it before real quick.
Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate it, David.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Take care.
See you later.
Aloha.
Aloha. Aloha, it's David Spade, and you're tuning into the only show that matters with my good friend Dave Lawrence. High five, Dave.